Hi, this is Cristina Dam, and this is Liberate the Podcast, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness. From spirituality, holistic healing, to creativity and conscious business, we've got your mind, body, and spirit covered. Hey there, today I'm excited to bring in one of our very own practitioners that is an amazing healer. She's a great intuitive, she's a shaman. You're gonna get to know her in a deep, intimate level, and we're really going to be talking about how to clear that ancestral, I can't even say that word right, but you know what I mean, the lineages of yourself, and allow you to be free. Because I think a lot of people are waking up at a more rapid rate than ever before and trying to integrate one life in the next, and Nikki is really here to help guide, to help that movement and help transcend that. So Nikki Bridges, everybody, welcome.
Hi, thank you for that amazing introduction. I was like, oh, it was like when you hear compliments, you're like, oh, thank you. Yes, I guess.
You gotta take those compliments.
If you can't toot your own horn, who can you toot?
Hey, right? So, Nikki, I would love for everybody to get to know you a little bit.
Okay. Well, yes, all of that stuff that I do. I come from a long line of healers. Many did not know they were doing healing work. My great-grandmother was full Cherokee and basically left the reservation, married my great-grandfather, and turned her back on all of her native heritage. I'm from Kentucky originally, and it was just like this weird thing that we always knew that we were native and we talked about it, but there was like a kind of a shame attached, which is pretty common in the South. My great-grandmother's family actually was in the Trail of Tears and went through that whole experience. So there's such an intense native roots all through, and very specifically in Kentucky. And when I was a kid in Louisville, it's like all of our parks are named after tribes and schools, but yet there's such a disconnect of your lineage and having that. So I've always felt that connection, and as I got older, I kind of reignited that in my grandma, and she started to really seek out our roots and where we came from. And I was always really into different types and different modalities of healing, and I was an actress for many years, so I just kind of thought it was always my therapy. And many, many years ago, a woman told me, no, you're going to be a Reiki master and you're going to do this work, and I'm like, no. And then it kind of just has unfolded, and the modalities keep kind of coming. And even the other night, I did a sound bath. We had 9 amazing women, and it was like we were on another level with it. And so even when I'm doing the work now, I've accumulated all this, even more things are coming through. I'm working with animal totems, like there's so much stuff. And very specifically recently has been the ancestral lineage conversation, and with the clients that I'm having and the sound baths that I'm having, that we're remembering our gifts and we're bringing them into current time. And I think a lot of what I do now is helping guide people in that way.
And what do you mean exactly by gifts?
So, not everybody's meant to be a healer. Not everybody's meant to do this work, and that's fine. But what we are meant to do is remember where we came from and why we're here. And oftentimes we don't know that. We don't, we might know a couple of generations back, and you might remember certain things when you were hearing growing up, that your grandma made a poultice and healed a cut on your leg. But she was a healer. You just didn't talk about it. Mm-hmm. Your mom cooked really big meals for everybody every Sunday. That's a form of healing, but you don't talk about it in that way. So we have these tools now for a reason, because we're able to now access things that we have, whether that be sound healing, whether that be Reiki, whether that be shamanic healing. These things, we're in a time now we're able to access and bring them into our modern lives. That's why I call my company Urban Mysticism, because the spirituality shouldn't have to be for people on the mountaintop, or it shouldn't be separate from our own lives. Mm-hmm. It's weaving all of these things, these modalities, these gifts that we have, remembering them and weaving them into our daily life.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be this weird, crazy, separate thing. It's like, do a little meditation, surround yourself in white light before you leave the house. Nobody has to know that you did any of that. You can do it all in your head. But you know that you're protected for your day.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's just utilizing, putting a little crystal in your pocket. Nobody had to see the crystal, but you got it in there and it makes you feel better and you feel protected in your day. It's connecting. And I think more than anything, at least for me and the people that I'm, my clients, is reconnecting with nature.
Okay.
And we live in an urban environment, so that's not always easy. It's not always easy to kick your shoes off and go walk in the grass when you work downtown. It's not easy
So what do you recommend for people?
So anytime that you can have that connection with nature, it's like a reset button. So if we live by the beach, we live around a lot of parks. Yes, there are places where you can go to the grass. You can go to the Descanso Gardens. You can go to botanical gardens. There's places that if you're not able to travel out of the city, there's places within the city all woven through that you can go eat your lunch. If you have to work in an office building, if there's a little park by your office, go sit there and eat your lunch there. Kick your shoes off. Because when we're able to reconnect with nature more frequently, we're able to reconnect with that vibration, which is ultimately the vibration that all of us should be tapped into, and we're not, and that's why Mother Nature's had it with us. And everything's so screwy right now. We've done a lot of damage, but even more so than the damage we've done is that we've disconnected from that energy.
Yeah, we disconnected from ourselves.
Absolutely,
too.
absolutely. So it's reconnecting with the earth energy, reconnecting with our own vibration that connects us with the earth, that ultimately gives us healing capabilities and helps us to help one another,
So when did you, so you were saying before that you never really saw yourself, entering onto this path, becoming a Reiki master, doing shamanic healings and sound baths. Like, where was that pivotal turn, from attending to doing?
Like pretty much anything for all of us healers, out of a lot of dark stuff. And and I've been through many different, and it's almost like the heavier the situation I go through, the more things are revealed about what I'm supposed to do on my path. When I realized I was going to be doing it for other people, it was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. I'd already kind of started doing this work, just interested. I had taken a little angel card reading course. I did a course with Doreen Virtue. I was doing a couple little things here and there and really started to do all the readings. And I just, like I said, at that point, it was still just for me. And then my uncle committed suicide. And then my grandmother passed away. And then I had a really bad surgery. And then I had this really crazy experience. And I moved to Savannah and everything went haywire and I came back. So it was like, of stuff. And in that time, I was searching so hard to heal myself and my family and the experiences that we were going through, that I knew that it was more than just me healing the few people in my circle. And then it started to expand, and then I kind of went back and forth, and then I created the Gem and Flower Essence line that I created 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, and that's when everything really amped up. So I had started to kind of work with the singing bowls then, and then it was like, then I started toning, then I started working on my drum, and I mean, isn't that been a lot.
I find that it needs to be, kind of really highlighted. It's, the darkness is our gift.
Absolutely. I just did a post about it yesterday. Absolutely.
When we go through that, rough periods in our life, we can choose to have it defeat us, or we can choose to defeat it and be empowered. Like you can choose to sink in the quicksand, or you can use the quicksand and say, wow, my legs are going to be so strong because I'm running through this, and it's that much harder.
Yep.
But it's also that much more friction creates that much more motion, right? And so if there's anybody that is listening that you're going through a period of time, or you still feel like maybe things are still getting worse, look at it and say, what what does this have for me? Because everything has something for you. And, hearing
what lessons are coming through.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or what transformation is going to come as on the other side, right? And so if we can stop for a minute instead of playing victim mode or wondering, am I ever going to get out of this? And say, hearing your story, it was like one death after another bad situation after that. And yet, you rose above it and you took that, all the lessons, and you said, oh, not only am I healing myself, now as I'm healing myself, I'm also in the position to start allowing that healing to spill over.
And I literally just wrote a post about this yesterday. And then the other thing too is when you go through that and then you feel like, okay, I've got clarity and things are good. And then you start to really hone whatever it is that you're going to do and find your passion and do that. That doesn't mean that then you're without it, because I had gotten to a place that I was really happy about, and then I had a miscarriage and I lost my baby in the hospital. And then I lost my place that I was living in, which was amazing. And then it was like, here we go again. And it was like cycles again. And that second or third or fifth or fourth time of my life of going through yet another back-to-back cycle, to be honest, almost took me out. And that was probably the lowest. I thought, you think when you've gone through a lot in your life that you can't hit any lower. And that definitely took me to a scary place that if it weren't for my mom and the people in my life, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. And out of that, I definitely went through some dark times, and I went through some deep depression. I stopped doing healings. I stopped doing essences, and it kind of was back and forth for the next year or two. And it wasn't until last summer that I was like, enough's enough. I have been sitting in this, feeling sorry for myself. I was still working, doing things, but I wasn't doing this work.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I couldn't run from it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I ran from it. It's that ancestral stuff. It's like I was following in the footsteps of so many women in my family of turning my back on my gifts to just get by because I had to be in survival mode. And I did it again and again and again through my life until last summer it was like, I cannot do this anymore. Yeah. And I'm gonna take a risk. And I quit my job. I was still working a little bit, took the summer off, found some other work, and basically just started hustling. And that's how I found you. That's how I found this amazing place. And it's like, now I know I'm where I'm meant to be. And yes, it doesn't mean that it's going to be super easy now. And there's tons of hurdles and I'm not where I feel I would like to be, but that's what it is. It's like, yeah, you can go through dark times and you can find that, but you have to also know that those dark times might not be behind you. Yeah. And they might come around the corner. But every time something else happens, it's just one more way to strengthen yourself, to learn a lesson, to go deeper within, to learn more about yourself. Because ultimately, we're all here, and especially those of us who have these things these traumas and these things that we have to overcome, we are here to tell our story and to help others heal, and who may be going through similar things, to know that it's always going to be okay. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will get through this, and you will be stronger, and you will be better as a result of it. And that's it. Life is a lot of tests, and sometimes some of the tests beat you up more than others. Yeah. But it's the perseverance and the strength and the wisdom that you get at the other side. I'm going to be 41 on Friday, and I would never want to be back 20 years ago. I know people get older and they start to freak out and say, I wish I was in my 20s. Like, no, I don't. No, I do not. I'm happy to be at this age with the wisdom and the knowledge that I have and the strength that I have, and to just keep gaining more. Yeah.
And to be able to gain more and give more,
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about some of your sound baths, because they're pretty exquisite.
They're different. Thank you.
Yeah.
That, once again, I've kind of fell into it. I had started doing stuff with the bowls, and I'd had a session done, not what I do, but somebody had done some kind of vocal toning over me, and it unlocked something. And so now, I kind of channel my native energy and heritage through shamanic drumming and then also chanting. So I like to do almost a 3-part in all my sound baths, unless they're really big. And if they're really big, then I kind of don't do the card reading part. But I like to give a little bit of a reading, because you're not coming to my sound bath just to chill out and relax. So you're going to know you got to work. So if you're coming to my stuff, you're going to do some work. And that's what I always say. So it's not so much a one size fits all sound bath in that way, that I like to weigh in with everybody and do a little short reading, because then we know, okay, we're getting clear on what I'm trying to release or what I'm trying to call in. And then each person has that kind of individual experience for why they're here and what they're trying to create for themselves. I do a full shamanic drumming, chanting portion to really release. Let's break it out. Let's get it out. And then I come in with the bowls and vocal toning, and it's always different. We had a really crazy experience on Thursday here. 9 women, all goddess energy, all these empowered women that were coming here and, and are doing other stuff. And we elevated it. We took it someplace else, to where I was even kind of freaked out, because it was like, I was so out of body and control of what I was doing that I was like, ooh, because we always talk about this. I'm cerebral first and spiritual second. So I even try to debunk my own stuff. So I'm doing it. I'm like, no, it wasn't that. And other people were like, yeah, it was. I'm like, oh, okay.
So out of this world sound baths, for sure.
So it's, and then I come back in with the drumming at the end to seal it. I have an amazing drum that I work with, and I'm going to bring another one in, because it's a very feminine energy and I want to have that opposite. So I'm going to bring in this Cherokee artist that makes these drums, and so it's more masculine. So then I'm going to have both levels, the feminine and the masculine drumming, to come in with. So yeah, I mean, I've never, anybody I've ever done work for it, I always say, you might not get the thing that you came in for, but you're going to get the thing you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
and so you started doing, in the last year, you said, okay, enough is enough. I'm back at it, and I'm going to dive back in to my spiritual journey, but also into stepping into my gifts. And what is it like when somebody ignores their gifts or doesn't integrate their gifts? Because
I'm here to tell you that it starts to wreak havoc on your bod. It literally starts to kill you from the inside out. And it's so crazy how my path has shown me this all along, and I never was willing to look at it until it started to happen to me. And so I started to get all these physical symptoms and go through all this stuff. Last year, before I turned 40, it was also due to childhood things and whatever. Oh, hopefully we're still mic. And then once I took all the tests, I did all of the things, and I was like,
I'm going to make sure if you turned it off, actually. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
I'm good. Once I'd done, because you have to be armed too. It's like, we got to kind of, as much as we want to heal in these ways, I do believe that everything in moderation and everything goes together. So I believe that Western medicine, Eastern medicine, spirituality, science, all are one package together. So I got all the tests and got checked, and there ended up being nothing wrong with me. And that's when I really saw my great-grandmother turn her back on her gifts, got extremely ill, became an alcoholic. My grandmother had to drop out of school at 14 and raise her brothers and sisters because she turned her back on her heritage and on her gifts. My grandmother basically did the same thing. And it really will. If you don't honor or at least investigate the reasons why we are here, it really will start to manifest itself in other ways physically in your life, because you're repressing. It's a repressed energy. It's like any artist. If you're not creating, if you're an artist and you have that creative energy, when you're not creating, this is often why people turn to addictions and other things, because that energy's got to come out somewhere. And if you're pushing it down, it's going to wreak havoc with your body.
Yeah, so I mean, gifts can be all different forms. They don't have to just be metaphysical. It's the way I'm hearing it is your truth. Your true essence of who you are as a person. If you pretend to be somebody that you're not, or you are out of alignment with what your true heart's desire is and soul's desire is, it can start to cause a lot of problems. And you see that over and over again.
And you attract the wrong people who are vibrating at that false frequency that you're vibrating at. So you're attracting people that might not necessarily be bad people, but they're not the people that are aligned to your frequency. But if you're not vibrating at your correct frequency, that's how we're calling in people that aren't in alignment with us because we're not being true to where we're supposed to be. So that's why oftentimes people get people that come in and it's the energy vampire thing and all this. I don't believe that everybody's out here trying to get you if you have good vibes, but I think that if you're not honing and being and honoring who you are and what you're about, then you're giving off different energy that's attracting the wrong people into your life. Absolutely. That can then deplete you and send you into a different place. So
when somebody comes in and they work with you, how do you help assist them in getting truth to their self?
My number one goal always with any of my clients, anybody I ever interact with, is honoring their truth, but really getting to the core of who they are, getting grounded, and just being able to be the best version of themselves, energetically, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I don't believe in that guru mentality. So I don't want people to then think, I've had people over the year, how many sessions is it going to take to get healed? No, man, I mean, obviously I would love to see clients come back for a tune-up and to be consistent over time. That's wonderful. But essentially, my work is to help you, give you the tools to be empowered to help yourself, to go out there and to do the things that you need to do. All different things come up during session work. And I really try to kind of clear and balance, get everybody's chakras aligned and clear that energy and open up those passageways so they can tap into their own higher selves, into their own guides and team and journey and mission to then do the work that they need to do. Yeah. So, I mean, and that's really what I think I'm seeing more and more of is I'm here to also help other healers and other people who are maybe not necessarily on this direct path, but on a path of helping people in general, whether they're teachers or nurses or doctors or, people that are really just here trying to do good for other people. And that's all part of being a healer. It doesn't have to be in this package. It can be in many, many different packages. You can be a, hospice caretaker, or you can, be a dog walker. I mean, anything. It can be, there's so many levels of helping other people.
I mean, people that are just even, smiling at a store, helping you
absolutely
buy whatever you need, or the barista at the coffee shop.
Absolutely.
I mean, we all contribute on an energetic level to everybody, and it's how can we all vibrate a little bit better so that it creates that ripple effect.
It's being mindful of your energy. That's a big one. And there were many years of my life that I did not do that. And I would enter a room, my crazy story from driving down the street would enter the room before me. And it's you can manipulate a room energetically so quickly and not even know it. So you can walk into a store, walk into a restaurant with a bad, funky vibe where you've carried the stuff that you dealt with out in your life and you bring it in and it's whoo, you can shift a space, It's being energetically responsible. If you want to be in a mood and you're pushing through some stuff and you're having a tough time, we all do. And nobody's begrudging that. But process that stuff in your house, process that stuff in your car, process that stuff with somebody in therapy or with somebody who's ready to be in that space with you. Yeah. But just entering into public environments with all of the stuff that you've got going on is not being responsible, because now you've thrown all your stuff off on everybody else. So it's also aligning with your truth, but aligning with knowing I'm having a really bad day, but let me not or catching yourself when you're doing it. Because we all do it. I do it. We all do it, but it's being oh, you know what? Sorry. I'm going to deal with that later. Let me, I'm not trying to bring you down in your day. And so it's just being responsible for your energy in life.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm guilty of it a lot.
And so, that would be one of the benefits of coming in and getting the healing, is that you can be one of those people that people can unload or clear and cleanse and let go of that, or come into one of your sound baths that you do here. You do every week you're here on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock for sound baths. Once a month on Thursdays right now we have you for residency. And
my women's circles too.
Yeah, and the women's circles, and of course a few days a week for one-on-one sessions as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a large range of things that I offer and that I do, from card readings to Reiki to shamanic work to sound healing to soul retrieval to cord cutting, and really even just kind of therapy. It's like even just going through talking about stuff. Sometimes people just want to vent and
they need a vent.
And so it's like I always feel kind of obligated to still do the sound healing in whatever I do, because it just feels like they're not separate from each other for me. But sometimes our sessions will just be, like I said, unloading or getting something out. And then I'll always kind of tie in some healing at the end so we can kind of clear out whatever was discussed or released in the session. So, and the sound baths are always unique group of people. And I mean, I'm always so blessed. I always say I'm only as good as my team, as my group. When people come, and I've been really, really lucky, and I know it's because of such an amazing space and energy that you and everybody here has created, that we're calling in people who are ready to work and who want healing, but who also are ready to do that work. And it's really cool. And it's like, we always get people, I love when I get people that have never had a sound bath. And it happens every sound bath. There's always somebody that's like, I've never had this. I'm like, yay! Because it's cool and it's exciting. And it's like a different journey that we can go on, because we all go on it together. When people are coming to sit, basically come and sit in circle. And that's what I like to facilitate, is that I channel certain energies. I work with a team. I have my ancestors with me, but I tap into a space and it's not me. So I can't really ever take full credit, because the stuff that comes out of me, the sounds and all that, can't really do in everyday life. So it's like, but also people have to be open and receptive. Yeah. So we all kind of work in unison. So I've been very blessed in all of my groups that it's people that are here, and even if it's something that's foreign to them or it seems a little weird, I always want to debunk that. I always want to let people know that this work doesn't have to be weird, and it doesn't have to be woo-woo, and it doesn't have to be all extra. Yeah. It can just be regular life, regular day stuff that you implement into your day or that you use to heal. And it's all there. It's all one.
Yeah. I love that. And Nikki, besides here, where can people find you?
On my Instagram, or where in life, or
like if people are looking for you, they want maybe a little more information on your gem essences that you create.
Yeah.
On
my website, so that's www.urban-mysticism.com, and then I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I don't do as much Facebook, but kind of Instagram is my medium. And
is
then
that the same handle?
It's urban_mysticism.
Okay. And we'll put all that.
And that's on Instagram. And then I have links on my website. I have links to like my Etsy shop and my online store and all that business. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, if you had to leave everybody with one thing, what would it be?
Trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust your power, trust your purpose, trust your passion, trust your voice, trust your energy. Trust that you are special, you are unique, you are here for something different than everybody else is. And no matter what, always know that you are important and you are loved. And that's it.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. If you enjoyed this conversation, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want some more amazing resources on your path of liberation, head over to liberateyourself.com and sign up for our mailing list. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram at Liberate Hollywood, all one word, or Liberate Emporium, all one word. Until next time, liberate yourself.